So, welcome to Adobe Flash Professional CS6 tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll teach you how to create vector art in Flash for games or animation. And in the next few tutorials that I'll upload, I'll teach you more like animation, motion tweens, all that, so you know how to use Flash. And the end of it, hopefully you would have mastered Flash. If not, it's probably you, not me. Alright, so let's create a new file. And this is the whole layout of it. Like some of your tools is pretty similar to Photoshop. Uh, so you want to create an object. What do you do? Well, you should make a sketch first. So you go to the layer panel and double click it, and we'll rename it to sketch. And we'll use the brush tool, which is the hotkey for this B, similar to Photoshop. And you can adjust the brush size using square brackets, or you can just go to this panel and pick the brush size. And just like in Photoshop, Control plus, Control minus to zoom in or out. Alright, so let's sketch a character. Maybe some guy with broccoli hair or an afro. Yeah. What's happening, brother? Alright, so you've got your sketch down, and let's select the whole layer. And what we're going to do now is we'll turn down the alpha really low over here, your color panel. If you don't have your color panel, you go to Windows and color right there. But once we've turned the alpha down, yeah, 21, that's good. You see now the color becomes more opaque. So alpha is kind of like opacity in Photoshop. So the idea here is like, if you know when you draw a comic panel, if you're a comic artist, or you know roughly what comic artists do, they do sketches and put it over a light box, and then they'll refine the sketch over it. Anyway, so or alternatively, if you don't want to sketch, because I find sketching my stuff in Photoshop first gives me control, you can go to File, Import to Library. If it ever loads. Anyway, so look for a file. Yep, I did the sketch earlier, and it's loaded to the library right now. And we go to the library panel. Again, if you want to open it, if it's not open, you can go to Windows and Library or Control L. So this is the file that we've imported, and we'll just hold down left click. I'm using tablet, but I think it's left click, and you just drag it to the stage like that. It's a little bit big. If you want to adjust it, you press Q, which is the free transform tool, and we'll just scale it down. So that's our sketch layer. And if you import an image and you want to turn down the opacity, you have to convert it to a symbol first. Alright, and then we'll go to properties. Under color effect, we'll change the style to alpha, and we'll just put it, enough so we can see it later. Alright, so as I explained later, it's like a light box, and what you can do now is we'll start doing a vector art over it. Now there's two ways we can go about this. We can use the line tool right there, or the hotkey for it is N. So what the line tool does is, as the name implies, it creates lines. If you want to change the color of your lines, you have to go to your color panel and you have to click on stroke color. See, Flash has two things. One is a stroke, which is lines created from a line tool, and fill color is things that you fill later. We'll get more into it later, and you can see the difference. So with the line tool, you just go around roughly over your sketch, and just do this a while more. Alright, I'll just do this really quick so you can see. It doesn't matter if it's ugly. There's always a chance to sexify it later on. Anyway, alright, I know what you're thinking now. What the f is this? This is a scam. it looks horrible. This is not a vector art. But anyway, with the line tool, what you do later on, you use the selection tool and you hover your line, and you can see on your arrow icon it changes to this little arc. So wherever you hold down on the line, that's where it'll start pulling it, so you can make it more curved, right? So you can see what I'm doing. The idea is to go over your sketch and make it as close to your sketch as possible. And once you've done that, you can fill in again fill color. So you have to change it to fill color. We have to increase the opacity again, or alpha, because I changed it, turned it down a little bit just now. And you can just select your color from here. Alright? And once you've selected the color you're happy with, you use the paint bucket tool or shortcut key K, and you just fill it in like Microsoft Paint. Awesome, isn't it? Or if you ever use Illustrator, well, we'll teach you about a pen tool, which is actually more precise. Pen tool, P for pen tool, and so to use the pen tool, or I'll explain it. To use the pen tool, first you click. Oh my god! All right, you click a point anywhere, and you click another point, but you don't let go. You hold it down, and you can drag it. Right? What these things are handles that you can use to adjust the angle of your line. If you want to keep continuing it, you hold down Shift and you click on the next anchor point. Well, we'll do it again because it's kind of stuffed up there. Alright, so Shift, you press on your anchor point to get rid of the handle, and you just continue again over your sketch. Alright, again, hold Shift, next line, hold Shift, next line. Alright, so we've done that, and then again, similar to what we did before, we press the paint bucket tool, select the color, and fill. Alright, if you want to get rid of your line, just double click on the line and backspace. Double clicking will select the entire line. Single clicking will just select the line to the point where it arcs, so it's like separate. So select everything, just double click and delete. Alright, so when you're working in Flash, you want to work in multiple layers, so it's easier to edit things later on. So I've already done the shape of the head, and also another thing you should do is once you've created an object, you should always group it. So Control G to group it. So you see before, it's like if I were to accidentally select this, I might pull it out. So what we do is just select everything and group it. So now you see it's one whole simple object. It just makes your life easier later on, and you can see how I'll show you how groups can really help later on. Alright, so I'll just do this, probably speed up the video and explain more when I'm done. So, and we're done. And that's our little cowboy. So I'll show you how I did the shadows around here. Well, not here, but I'll just show you how I did the shadows. So we'll just do the shadow on the horns. Go inside the horn. Alright, let's make the outline of the horns again. What we can do is use the ink bottle tool, which is S, and click around the sides. If your stroke is too thick and it's hard to see, well, mine isn't right now, like Yeah, if it's too thick like that. You go on the properties panel and you go on the stroke and you just change it. So the lower it is, the smaller your stroke is. 0.5 is good. And what we do is we move our lines a little bit. Use the eyedropper tool, change the color a little bit darker, and fill that in. And that's our shadows. And say if you want to make highlights, what I normally do is you can just make a quick shape right there. You highlight with the line tool. Alright, so you can either I use the eyedropper to select the color and go to pick a brighter color, or you can also just group your highlight line and just select white, a little bit of alpha, and fill that in. Get rid of it and we go out of this group, and there you go. See, that's your highlight. So okay, so that's it for this tutorial. You probably should be able to know how to do Flash now, how to make stuff in Flash, and I wish you all the best. So stay tuned because there will be more. Bye.